Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another reaction for another SunnyV2 video, and this one I'm excited about. This is how Nickelback became the most hated band ever. Is that true? How? What? With the photograph? What? This is Nickelback. Yeah, that's Chad, what's his name? Chad Chaddington? What is this guy's name? Chaz Palminteri? What's his name? This guy. Chad something. Kruger? No. Chad Yeager? Chadwick Boseman? I don't think so. I don't think that's him. So how Nickelback became the most hated band ever. That's quite a title. I didn't know that. Is that really true? Are they the most hated band? Oh look! The microphone's an eye. Clever. Anyway, these are always fun. I'm used to him doing YouTuber stuff, so it's kind of. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of SunnyV2, so, but this is a unique shift, I guess. Let's get to it. I'm always excited. So all right, there's no subtitles. Let's get to it. 3, 2, 1, and play. Link in description. Link in description.
Universally hated by
Wait, is that him now?
The hatred began with something completely out of Nickelback's control and was rather related to the opinion held by another popular public figure. In 2003, approximately 8 years after Nickelback was created, a comedian by the name of Brian Posehn appeared on a Comedy Central talk show titled
Fishboy from House of
during which he would make a joke about bad music making people violent before using Nickelback as an example.
Bad music makes people violent. Like Nickelback makes me want to kill Nickelback.
At the time, the other hosts on the show didn't even know who Nickelback was, yet Brian Posehn continued to reassure them with conviction that the band was truly horrible.
I'm so old I don't know who Nickelback is.
I'll have to agree with Nickelback.
They're horrible. Just trust me.
Now, you probably assume that this one little comment wasn't enough to make the entire world hate Nickelback, right?
Like, Tough Crowd wasn't like that big of a
comment being a
success.
small thing in a relatively obscure episode on Comedy Central, the joke was actually featured in the station's main commercial, which was broadcast to millions for a period of over 6 months. With it, the hatred for Nickelback began to go viral, which was outlined by one user on Reddit who stated, "The joke was on every Tough Crowd promo and nearly all the time. After hearing this joke during every promo for a couple of weeks, I began to hear everyone at my middle school begin to mock Nickelback mercilessly. The worthwhile part of that repetitive commercial was, of course, the punchline of listening to Nickelback makes me want to kill Nickelback. The whisper down the lane aspect of the joke telling allowed the origin to slowly disappear until even people unfamiliar with modern music knew there was something detestable about Nickelback. Internet meme culture would then facilitate the hatred in the late noughties and early 2010s.
The only thing I want to hear right now is the sweet sound of this Nickelback CD cracking as I drive over it repeatedly.
With articles such as the 14 most brutal Nickelback memes of all time, featuring bangers such as Still a Better Band than Nickelback, surprising with concert tickets and Nickelback, and due to a coal shortage, Santa will be giving all bad little boys and girls Nickelback CDs. In addition to this, a company by the name of Oxlabs would develop a Chrome extension by the name of Nickelblock, never see Nickelback on the internet again, and by 2012, even Adam Sandler was jumping in on the hate train with a tweet reading,
because Adam Sandler, the creator of Jack and Jill, has any right to fucking talk.
In the forest and no one is around to hear it, then have we found the perfect location for a Nickelback concert?
It became kind of a trend and kind of, you know,
cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, it started to become sort of like almost a constant, and it hurt.
What Mike Kroger seemed to imply in that clip was that much of the Nickelback hatred was spreading simply because other people hated
Mike Kroger. So is he actually the brother of Chad? It's because Chad Kroger.
Those other people who hated Nickelback hated them because someone else hated Nickelback.
Hey, at least you got one fan.
This whole phenomenon was outlined hilariously in a Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan episode.
It's the same reason everybody hates Nickelback. Because the internet says so.
Yet this still feels like too simple of an explanation. Why did Brian Posehn choose to rip on Nickelback in the first place? Why didn't he choose a different band?
Oh, it's not his fucking fault. He made one passing joke about a band he doesn't like.
But he attempted to convince the other hosts on the show of how bad Nickelback was. Well, perhaps it was because he was being forced to listen to them against his will. In 2002, just a year prior to Brian Posehn making his viral comment about Nickelback being terrible, the band's most famous song, How You Remind Me, was crowned as the most played radio song of 2002, and by 2009 it was crowned as the most played radio song of the decade, having been sung over 1.2 million times. Just to give you an idea about how crazy that number is, in 2002 there was never a given second on American radio that How You Remind Me wasn't being played on any one station.
In the United States, at the time that the album came out, they say that at any given second in those days, that song was in play. There was never a moment in that year
hell was
when
that?
it wasn't playing.
Anybody else see that? Or
Hating
lose
the
my
band
mind?
for the music itself, people were sick of Nickelback being shoved down their throats by radio stations throughout the 2000s. While these days we consume music by choosing what we want to listen to on YouTube or Spotify, this luxury didn't exist in 2002.
Are they under like the category shit
Unless you
stain?
had a specific CD, you were at
I
the
don't watch
mercy
it
of
all.
whatever the
I
radio
don't even hate
decided to play,
Nickelback from
with
what I
every
heard.
station blasting How You Remind Me
I'm
all day,
so
every
high,
day. It
some,
seemed
right?
Nickelback
Or is
was
it some-
inescapable. While this must have been great in terms of exposing Nickelback to the world, perhaps it went a little too far. How many of you guys have unfollowed an influencer or a friend on Facebook
Jesus
because
Christ
they post
hair?
50 different times per day? Or have you ever had a friend force you to watch a piece of media, whether it be a song, video, or movie, and because you didn't choose to watch it, it feels uncomfortable and you just want it to end? It seemed as though this is how the world felt during Nickelback's blow-up, as summarized beautifully in an article written about the band. The song became too big. It never stopped playing. It was everywhere. Its legacy is that it introduced people to Nickelback. In doing so, it became a signpost, a specific moment in time when you met the thing you hate. Now it's hated by association. Now, in order for the song to have been
I
getting
guess
that
I hate
much
this
airtime
now.
in the first place, some people must have been enjoying it. Yet Mike Kroger would go on to state that much of the success they achieved as a result of the song would eventually turn into hatred.
The time at which Nickelback
fucking
began
parties,
to
is it?
suck started shortly
Oh,
after
okay,
we
he's the
started
host.
to sell
That was a really
millions
weird
and
cut though
millions
for
of albums.
half a second.
And everybody loves an
You probably
underdog
showed him
until
before,
they're
I
no
was-
longer the underdog, and then once you're not the
Stop
underdog
cutting
anymore,
to
that's
you,
when you
Drew.
start to suck.
Mike Kroger's theory that people hated the band simply because they were successful was certainly plausible, as a Finnish academic study on the hatred of Nickelback found that between 2000 and
What?
2014, the more successful Nickelback got, the worse their reviews grew, which was supported by a user on Reddit who wrote, "The only reason that
Chad
so many
Kroger is
people
just so
seem to
bad
hate
misspelled his
Nickelback is because of how popular they are, selling over 50 million albums worldwide." It didn't help that certain media outlets literally had a policy where they weren't allowed to write positive stories about Nickelback. Mike Kroger explained that he met a former journalist
God
for Rolling
damn.
Stone who had written a positive review of a Nickelback album while working for the media company, yet Rolling Stone never allowed the journalist to post it simply because it was positive.
And this journalist said, hey, I gotta tell you a story. He was asked to review one of our albums, and
That's really
he wrote a
shitty,
very,
actually. I didn't
very
realize how much people
detailed and
hated Nickelback. I thought it was like
well
just a
thought out
meme.
of the album.
Nickelback,
and it was
lol.
positive. He took it to his editor. and his
Nickelback,
editor just
ugh.
said, I can't
Me angry.
because we here at Rolling Stone are very anti-Nickelback. We do not like Nickelback. We can't write good things about Nickelback.
You wrote this
And if
article,
this
you
was
better
the
take a
narrative
nickel
being
back.
told by the media, it's hardly surprising to discover that there have been countless other negative articles on the band.
Before you get
to
the
be
nickel
fair, some
sack.
of them have certainly been a result of Nickelback's poor decisions. For example,
I
in
can't really think of it,
2006,
right?
the Nickelback frontman was stopped by police for speeding in his luxury Lamborghini sports car. A breath test
This
found
band
he had
should
nearly
rename
twice
them
the
the
legal
Nickel
limit of
Hacks.
alcohol in his system. Along similar lines, in an interview
Oh
with
my
Playboy,
God.
Chad Kroger
Playboy.
bragged about once having drunk
Oh, okay.
13 Corona
Oh,
beers
okay. I was confused. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, it's an interview. Okay, I get you.
sports car. A breath test found he had nearly twice the legal limit of alcohol in his system.
Yeah, I
Along
probably
similar
would
lines, in
too,
an
if I
interview
was-
with Playboy, Chad Kroger bragged about once having drunk 13 Corona beers in a row, saying that he can down
Corona.
a Corona in 5 or 6 seconds. Although, while their drinking
Wow.
habits, along with their love for car chases, explosions, and big boobs, probably just
Hell
made their
yeah.
audience love them
Hell
even
yeah.
more. One thing that they would do in 2008
Living up to that
might
first
actually
name, Chad.
qualify as the first thing done by Nickelback themselves to have a genuine impact on
What's
their
happening?
reputation.
What is this
In
in
fact, this
background?
thing was so detrimental that the Finnish academic study we mentioned earlier anchored it as the main reason behind the band's poor reputation, and it began when they wrote a song by the name of Rockstar in 2005. 3 years after releasing the song, it was
I'm
licensed
really
to
bad
DF
with like titles, but I swear to God, if you started playing some of that song, I'd be like, oh, I know, I definitely know it.
Best furniture for an advertisement, which was so terrible
Oh,
that it put
okay.
a dent in the band's reputation.
Oh,
Nickelback's
okay.
branding was, as mentioned previously, about
Yikes.
metal, beers, and the same things Middle America likes. Therefore, licensing their music to a commercial that looked like this felt a little bit inauthentic. Now we can
I mean,
probably
it's no worse. Like just from what I'm seeing there, it's no worse than most commercials nowadays, which they're all like think they're really lol funny. There's one commercial. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pause for a second. I just need to talk. There's one commercial that they don't play anymore, luckily, but they used to play all the time in my movie theater. Of like some, let's just say a woman of plus size, walking around going, "Oh, look at this! Oh, everybody's dancing! Oh, wow, look at this! Oh," and then it ends with her going like, "I'm a dancer now," or whatever. I hate that commercial. I don't even know what it's for because every time I immediately go on my phone and just fucking look things up. Like, While that commercial's on, I'm like, murder, bad shit, and, you know, I just want to see something way more pleasurable. Anyway, that's not true. I don't do any of that. But I hate that commercial. So, like, I've never hated a commercial more. Her smarmy little talking too. God damn. Oh my god, I hate it. I'm a dancer, and fuck you.
We all agree that it feels like a bit of a stretch to claim that Nickelback's worldwide hatred came about as a result of one relatively obscure furniture advertisement. However, according to the Finnish study, the issue Antonin writes is about the perception of authenticity. Rock critics like to think of
themselves. It didn't look that bad, honestly.
As protectors of
There's just people dancing and like, look at this shit, it's on sale.
Originality, and they perceived Nickelback to be a bunch of
it must be because of the song.
sellouts, true to their money rather than the art. Perhaps it was less about them being in the background of a furniture ad and more about them selling their music to the furniture ad in the first place. People perceive them as sellouts with zero standards. In addition to this, the Finnish study made the claim
nothing about that looked that bad. I mean, it looks bad, but like not that bad.
The fans were unhappy with Nickelback's perceived lack of
You
originality.
can't hear the music, that's why. With the music, it makes it like 1,000% worse.
You think a generic rock song not pushing the envelope. Nickelback is too much of everything to be enough of something. They follow genre expectations too well, which is seen as empty imitation, but also not well enough, which is read as commercial tactics.
I just don't like the way they sing. Or I guess Chad say,
I'm
so high. You don't talk like that.
Has been theorized everywhere on the internet. In a Reddit thread attempting to discover how the band became so hated, one user wrote, "People hate Nickelback because they represent the idea that a record label can take any band, no matter how bad, and make them popular. The label can use clever PR and good advertising to make loads of money off a band that is just mediocre. People don't hate the band nearly as much as they hate the idea that the band represents," which was followed by a reply.
I agree with that last
"They're a mediocre band that has experienced precisely zero musical growth and exists purely as a vehicle to print money for record labels.
Do you listen to every one of their albums?
Didn't care about musical growth, signed on knowing what the plan was, and had no problem with any of it. It doesn't even make sense to hate Nickelback for their music. It's not distinctive enough to be worthy of notice. It's carefully designed to be pointless and catchy. It's a product built to appeal to the lowest common denominator. It doesn't do anything wrong because it doesn't dare to take any risks. To put it simply, instead of
Chad Kruger out of nowhere came out with like the riskiest song you've ever heard. Like he's talking about like, I don't know, like 9/11 was an inside job or some shit. Like, whoa. Chad.
It's risky.
Now you're living up to the first thing.
And authentic to them. The band is perceived as having a reputation for putting out whatever music is guaranteed to appeal to the masses, yet it's hard to tell if this perception is even correct. In an interview with...
How come they've never sang and did all that on the back of a giant nickel? Of all the sets, that makes the most sense, right? Like the back of a, you know, like not the...
Chad Kruger.
Who's on a nickel? I can't remember now. I don't think I've seen a nickel in like at least 2 years.
This is how they've experimented with a bunch of different types of music.
We definitely started off as a little bit of a heavier band, but we found fans in so many different places because we just wanted to write different kinds of songs. So we'd write a song that was way over here.
You could say it's because they're...
Sometimes we'd write something really heavy, and the fans would accept that too.
Before explaining that...
You could say heavy songs, you mean the Spider-Man hero song. That's pretty heavy. Wait, that is Nickelback, right? I think I'm pretty sure it is.
Perceives the music in their own unique way.
Because it could be Coldplay. They both sounded fucking exact same to me. All music from like this style of music in the late 90s, early 2000s all sounds the same to me. That's why I don't understand the hate for Nickelback. Because they sound exactly the same as a lot of the other fucking bands back then.
Of it. One was political, one was religious, one was like corporate.
Which doesn't exactly sound like they were specifically trying to follow some kind of radio success
formula. I don't like this music.
Maybe this point is just another reason the internet
look at this photograph.
Because outside of the internet, they claim that they're hated by no one.
Dude, I installed one update for fucking Adobe for my label printer, and fucking I need to do something. McAfee has been annoying the shit out of me at random times. You have a million viruses. Like, no, I don't. I'm fine. Okay? The porn didn't do it. Okay? The porn's fine. Leave me alone. God damn.
For example,
anyway, let me go back because I missed
to justify hating them, because outside of the internet, they claim that they're hated by no one. For example, a petition requesting that Nickelback not play at halftime during an NFL game.
Wait, every time Nickelback writes a new album, I lose even more hope. I feel bad for them now. God damn.
Backed up over 55. 5,000 signatures. Yet after arriving in the city to play the concert, the band stated that it was nothing but love from the fans.
Playing the halftime, what was that like?
It was very controversial filled, and far less so when we actually got there. Every single human being that we came in contact with in Detroit was like, "We love you. We have no idea what this is all about."
Now, there was that one time in Portugal where they walked off stage after having rocks and bottles thrown at them. Yet, as an
I don't blame them.
overall,
what the fuck
the
this?
band has been wise in framing the hatred as a long-term positive.
I've been really clear with my guys that all that hate has given our career legs. And that's the thing that scares me the most is if people finally stop hating us.
I'm not gonna lie, when that popped up, I was about to get really angry. I thought it was McAfee again. And what gives Adobe the right to I'm assuming it was like a clickable thing. I didn't click it because I had to update it because it wasn't fucking printing any of my labels out for shipping. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to reinstall and update shit. Whatever, fuck it. No one cares. Anyway, it just every time I see it, it pisses me off. I haven't uninstalled it yet because every time like it pops up, I'm like, go away, and then I forget about it. And then now it's popping up at times where I'm making videos, but I click away and then I forget about it again. I assure you I'm going to forget about it again here. Anyway, what? How a pro gamer successfully faked his death. Oh my god. Might need to watch that one. That one sounds insane. Anyway, that's how Nickelback became the most hated band ever. I'm not gonna lie, that one wasn't the most interesting. It's just like a lot of people being dicks to Nickelback just because they don't like the music. That's really it. I thought to be fair, the Brian Posehn thing was interesting because I didn't know about that. And I used to watch Tough Crowd too, like here and there. But that's interesting. That part is interesting. But then after that, it's just like people like, I don't like. And of course, the Nickelback did the Dark Side Phil approach where like he takes the hate and they harness the hate and they grow from it or whatever. That's what DSP always says, which is not true for DSP, but it looks like it's true for Nickelback. So anyway, there you go. How Nickelback became the most hated band ever. Poor guys. I actually really do feel bad for Nickelback. I feel like they don't deserve it. You know what? I want to see if other people agree. You know what? Just real quick. Nickelback was a decent band no matter what people say. Yeah, they're fine. Again, the Hero song's really good. That is Nickelback. I'm not even going to look it up. I'm just going to... actually... Here, I'll just do this real quick. Nope. Hero. Yeah, that was them. Okay. They say that a hero can you... Oh, what? Alright, well, I guess so. For some reason, like, sometimes I can't go back, so... There's no going back. Anyway. For me, I was just forced to hear the music constantly as a kid. Yeah, I was too, to be fair. I never hated it as a kid, though. Honestly, I've always loved Nickelback. Having to explain how in the 2000s we didn't get to choose what we listened to unless we had, Explain that to a kid now, they'll think you're fucking like some alien or some shit. Yeah, we didn't have your YouTubies and your fucking your Spotify's and your TikToks or whatever the fuck. That's not a music one, but we didn't have this shit growing up. We had to go to a FYE and buy an overpriced CD to listen to this fucking douchebag talk about fucking, I don't know what the fuck, how he's high or fucking his photographs. Anyway, there you go. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the next episode. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.